Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in Our News.
The Labor Director weighs in on the overwhelming support at the polls from hotel workers.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, members of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike amid difficulties in negotiating a new industrial agreement with their employers. However, the Labour Director says he's hoping the two sides can reach a resolution before the matter escalates to that point. Gillian Gray reports.
After hotel workers voted to strike yesterday, Labour Director John Pinder says he understands the overwhelming support as it's workers' pockets that's being threatened.
As long as monies are involved, and pushes are going to lose monies. Certainly, if the union is asking for their support to help them maintain a certain salary or a certain monetary benefit, then most likely you will see this type of support.
According to the Labour Director, 2,361 hotel workers participated in Thursday's strike poll. 2,262 workers voted yes, 33 voted no, 54 ballots were blank, and 12 ballots were spoiled. The largest voting bloc was workers from Atlantis. Nearly 1,700 workers from the mega resort voted. Of that number, 1,625 voted in favor of a strike. The union is now waiting on the Minister of Labour to certify that strike poll and issue a strike certificate. However, the Labour Director said he hopes the situation does not escalate to the point of a strike.
Being a former trade unionist, it's always good to have a gun to the government head when I was president of the union. I guess in this case he's saying that he has a gun to the employer's head. And, if you don't... certified certificate giving the right to strike is what I'm regarding as a gun. And I guess they're saying to the employer, if you're not going to be fair with us, we can pull the trigger. But I hope it doesn't reach to that.
Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagler has warned that a hotel union strike at this time could have a devastating impact on the country's economy. Last week, the hotel union burned a proposal submitted by the Bahamas Hotel and Restaurant Employers Association, which represents Atlantis, The Reef, Melia Nassau Beach, British Colonial Hilton, and other hotel properties. The union said chief among the concerns is mandated gratuity amounts as well as holiday benefits and increased severity of breaches. However, for its part, Atlantis said they never suggested removing the 15% gratuity and regarded that rumor as misinformation. In a press statement released the day after the strike vote, hotel officials said they do not want a strike, but business will go as usual regardless of how this plays out. Pinder said he has not seen the proposal that suggests the removal of the 15% benefit.
It's unfortunate that the 15% gratuity is being threatened. Now, I have not seen a proposal from Atlantis to suggest that they are, or from the Hotel Association to suggest that they're trying to take the 15% away. But the perception is they are planning on negotiating out of the 15% gratuity.
Pinder said negotiations between the hotel union and BHEA will commence on June 27th. Union officials believe a strike certificate will now level the playing field. Reporting for Our News, I'm Gillian Gray.
Thanks, Gillian. A man who was being electronically monitored was gunned down in front of his home last night. His killing comes 2 weeks after a judge granted him bail in relation to a murder charge. Nearly a year after being slapped with a murder charge, 22-year-old Shaquille Roll was shot dead in front of his Culmersville home. According to police, shortly after 10 last night, a man was standing in front of a residence on Shady Tree Street, Culmersville, when a silver vehicle pulled up to him. The occupants opened fire in his direction, shooting him before speeding away. Paramedics transported the injured man to hospital, where he later died. An unrecovered shell casing, as well as broken glass from the shooter's vehicle, remained on scene when Our News visited early Friday morning. Roll's mother and sister were too distraught to speak on camera. Roll's family say he was granted bail in early May and his life had been threatened. His murder charge was in relation to the June 23, 2018 killing of Kendrick Clark in Culmersville. He was charged alongside 24-year-old Tilly Brown and 25-year-old Theo Williams. Roll is the second murder accused to be killed in less than 5 days. According to our news records, his killing marks the 34th murder for 2019. 7 women and 1 man were appeared in magistrate's court today on accusations they defrauded a money lender out of $5,000 each. 33-year-old Carl Fisher III, 26-year-old Trinae Ladon, seen in the white shirt, 33-year-old Shakira Ute in the floral top, 31-year-old Erica Gibson in the blue and white striped shirt, 33-year-old Melissa Evans in the pink shirt, 41-year-old Shentai Moxie in the green shirt, 37-year-old Vandissa Roll in the blue collared shirt, and 27-year-old Reniqua Bow, seen in the gray jacket, were each charged with 1 count of fraud by false pretenses. The particulars are that the group obtained $5,000 each from Easy Term Limited by false pretenses. They were also charged with possession of a forged document and uttering a forged document. That document being a Department of Education job letter, knowing the same not to be genuine. Ladon, Fisher, Bow, Gibson, Evans, and Roll each pleaded guilty to the charges. However, Magistrate Ambrose Ambrister only convicted them on the uttering charge. They were ordered to spend 6 months on probation, perform 80 hours of community service, and pay Easy Terms $5,000 before December 3rd of this year. Ute and Moxie pleaded not guilty. The charges against them were withdrawn after the prosecutor received notice that those defendants had repaid the money. Government will not be introducing a proposed income tax to fund national health insurance during the upcoming fiscal year, according to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands. However, he insisted the proposed funding mechanism is not completely off the table. Jasmine Brown tells us more.
These were proposals that were being made, and ultimately the decision would lie and has laid with Cabinet. We have decided, as the Deputy Prime Minister would have made very clear, there are no new taxes in this budget.
So that's not happening anytime soon?
It is certainly not happening this budget year.
The NHIA has pegged the cost of NHI at $130 million per year. It will be funded by contributions from businesses. The NHIA estimates that the annual premium per employee would be $1,000 or $84 a month. Employees earning more than $66,667 will pay the entire premium. The authority presented its recommendations to Cabinet on February 19th. Today, the health minister insisted Cabinet has decided that salary contributions is not something Bahamians can afford at this time.
NHI continues to be provided. We continue to grow the primary care services, and we will determine the appropriate time for expansion of the catastrophic component as promised.
The health minister was asked if the proposed funding mechanism for the expanded NHI has been scrapped altogether. He said no.
I don't think so. It's I think it's a matter of determining when is the appropriate time. Timing is everything.
Sands could not say if the delay in funding will push back the expected implementation of the expanded program from July 2020. The revised scheme included the expansion of standard healthcare benefit package to include coverage for pediatric cancers for those under 12 years old, as well as raising the small business turnover exemption to $250,000 per year, which will add approximately 17,000 additional employees to be eligible for NHI. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The government has allocated nearly $19 million for travel and subsistence in the 2019-2020 budget. In 2018-2019, it budgeted $8.8 million. The year before that, it received a budget of $9.1 million. Acting Financial Secretary Marlon Johnson insisted that's because government has moved to a different budgeting system. In recent months, the government has come under fire for not disclosing travel costs for the Prime Minister and other members of government. In January 2018, Dr. Hubert Minnis committed to disclosing ministers' travel costs. However, that never happened. In September, Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine lambasted the government over what he deemed excessive traveling. The 2019 Atlantic hurricane season officially begins tomorrow. Director of the Department of Meteorology, Trevor Baisden, said, according to 2 international weather predictions, this hurricane season will be near normal with 13 named storms. Officials are also predicting that if any of Those storms develop into a major hurricane, it would be a Category 3, 4, or 5. Basin said 3 of the country's 5 Doppler radar systems are already up, and once they're all operational, the Bahamas will have accurate information on all weather systems.
Also supporting that, we've invested in automatic weather observation systems that complement the Doppler weather radar systems, and we will be able to give very, very precise indications of hail, tornadoes, water spouts, any severe weather, thunder, lightning, and the likes.
The National Emergency Management Agency has embarked on an aggressive campaign to ensure disaster preparedness teams and the public are ready. NEMA Director Captain Stephen Russell said they've been testing their systems and pushing their theme, Be Prepared Bahamas.
We want to stress as we go through this month to encourage Bahamians to find effective ways and means to save their lives, safeguard their livelihoods, and protect their assets if we are impacted by a major storm. God forbid we are impacted by a major storm during this year. Protecting your livelihoods, your assets, and your household and your family.
Officials said shelters have been checked and prepared. However, NEMA officials warned that in the event of a major storm, on islands like Ragged Island that are still struggling to recover, residents would have the option to fly to New Providence or another family island. NEMA's Deputy Permanent Secretary Crystal Glinton said preparing to evacuate your home can be as simple as packing a bag with the essentials. She says it's something they will be teaching both parents and children next month.
During the week of the 17th through the 29th, we are going into the schools, primary schools in particular, and we're going to distribute preparedness material because we realize that from the cradle to the grave, once we inform children, they will ensure that their parents will be reminded to be prepared.
Still to come on our news, government confident it will collect outstanding gaming taxes. Stay tuned for that.